Peace, Israel. The title of this lesson is Who is Israel? Or Who are the Israelites? Also, this lesson can be titled Who is the Son of God? Or Who is the Son of Yah? So once again, it's who's the Son of God? Or who is Israel? Which these are synonymous. And that will be clear as I finish up on the lesson. We're not getting started. Let's start first with Israel. Israel is a man whose name was Jacob. Okay? Jacob wrestled with an angel, and his name was then changed to Israel. So Jacob and Israel, synonymous, same person. And we're going to go into the script so you can know exactly where these scriptures are. Right now, I'm just holding this board up so you can see clearly how the nation of Israel came about. And then we'll go back into the script. But right now, I just want to make a few things clear to you so you know exactly who is who in the whole tribe of Israel. Now, Jacob, before his name was changed, or actually Jacob, Israel, same person, he was married to Leah. Okay? Leah and Rachel are sisters. So keep that in mind. Leah and Rachel are sisters. Leah was his first wife. Rachel was his second wife. Okay? Now, Leah bore 6 children, 6 sons, and 1 daughter for Israel. All right? Rachel only had 2 of his sons. All right? Now, as we look at the bottom here, you see where it says Leah's maid Zilpah. Okay? Zilpah, who happens to be the maid of Leah, also bore Jacob 2 sons, Gad and Asher. Now we see in the bottom here, we see Rachel's maid Bilhah. Okay? Bilhah also bore 2 sons unto Israel, or unto Jacob. Okay? Those sons were Naphtali and Dan. Dan, then Naphtali, in that order. So here we have Reuben, the firstborn. That becomes important. Reuben, the firstborn. So we have Reuben, Simeon, Levi. Levi is the priest of the house of Israel, and the priest ultimately of the whole entire earth. Okay? So Levites are our priestly tribe. Okay? Judah is the lawgiver. Okay? Out of Judah will come the governors. Okay? I.e. the seed of David. Okay? You have Issachar. You have Zebulun. Okay? We also have Gad, Asher. That were the sons of Zilpah, who is the maid. Rachel bore Joseph and Benjamin. Okay? And you'll also see Rachel's maid Bilhah, who bore Dan and Naphtali. Now, when you see the list of the 12 tribes of Israel, you will not see Joseph. Okay? Because Joseph is the firstborn. Okay? Reuben is the firstborn. However, Reuben lost his birthright, and it was thus given to Joseph. Now, the son, the firstborn son, is normally given a double portion. Let me say that again. The firstborn is normally given a double portion. So since Reuben lost the birthright of the firstborn because he messed up, he lay with his father's concubine, and I will read that for you. Thus, the birthright was given to Joseph. So Joseph received a double portion. Thus, his 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, were now placed in his stead, or in his place. So when you see the list, you won't see Joseph on there. What you will see is Ephraim and Manasseh, which are representatives of Joseph. Ephraim being normally referred to as the northern tribe, okay? Or Israel, okay? So hopefully we understand this chart. 6 sons born to Leah, 2 to Rachel, 2 to Bilhah, Rachel's maid, two to Leah, Leah's maid. Okay, so there was a controversy between these two women, though they were sisters. Rachel was the good looking one. Leah was not so good looking, but she was the eldest. Okay, so for Laban to marry his daughters, he had to first marry the first. Okay, the eldest. Okay, the eldest goes before the youngest. So he actually deceived Jacob by Jacob really wanted Rachel. That's who he wanted to marry because she was good looking. Okay, but their father, remember these two women are sisters, their father gave him Leah instead after he had worked 7 years for her. Now, Jacob felt he was tricked because he really wanted Rachel. So he did another 7 years for Rachel. So now he had Leah as his wife and Leah's sister Rachel also as his wife. Now, if you know anything about the law, you know this is a no-go. This is a transgression because you're not supposed to lay down with your wife's sister at all. Okay? So this is in transgression right off the bat if you understand the law. All right? But this is so you understand exactly what's taking place. Okay, Leah was the one that was not so good looking. Rachel was very good looking. Okay? So Rachel was the one that was desired. She was the youngest. But Jacob ended up with Leah instead. Okay? Now, Rachel could not have any children for Jacob because her womb was closed. The Most High had closed her womb. And Leah was the one to bear all the children. So Rachel, seeing that she could not bear any children, the first thing she did was she gave Jacob her handmaid, Bilhah. And Bilhah bore these sons onto Israel. Okay? And so they started competing with each other. When one couldn't have a child, they'll give him the handmaid so the handmaid can have a child because that child is still considered to be Leah's for the simple fact that Leah is actually the head person, if you will, or the mistress of Zilpah. Zilpah is the maid of Leah. So if Zilpah has a child, it's Leah's child, so to speak. Okay? So I just want you all to kind of understand that, get a good gist of it. Okay? Remember once again, Reuben is the true firstborn. However, he's defiled his father's bed, and thus he was stripped of the firstborn, or the right of the firstborn, and it was given to Joseph. And Joseph is now represented on the 12 tribes by his two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. All right, let's take a pause. We'll get back to work. 1 second. I had mentioned throughout the video that Israel were the only people given the laws of the Most High. And I've also read throughout the video that Israel received all the punishments because they were the ones that received the law. Thus, the other nations, we haven't really seen judgment brought upon them because they haven't received the laws of the Most High. So do understand that there's going to be two different criteria for judgment. One, the nation of Israel will be judged on the fact that they have transgressed the laws that were given unto them, because the laws were only given to the house of Israel. The other nations were not given the laws of the Most High. What the other nations will be judged on, they will be judged on the envy and the hatred of the house of Israel. So this is pretty much I'm doing this after the fact, and I'm going to insert it within the video itself. That way I read to you exactly where the other nations never ever received the laws of the Most High. He has never dealt with them for the simple fact that he simply stated that he doesn't know any other nation except the nation of Israel. Anyhow, let's go to Psalms 147, and we're going to read verse 19 and 20. Once again, Psalms 147, verse 19 and 20. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Jacob and Israel, same man, same bloodline of people. Verse 20. He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yah. Okay, so this is being made clear. The Most High, these other nations have never known his judgments. These other nations, he doesn't know them. He's not dealt so with them. Okay, of course, he put some judgments on Egypt. We're aware of that. Okay, but he doesn't know these nations. Okay, he says so himself. He's not dealt with them in this manner, and he only knows Israel. He loves Israel. You cannot find the Most High saying he loved any other nation or that he has known any other nation of people. That's a bloodline of people. So I just wanted to insert that. Peace, Israel. Peace, Israel. Let's continue this video on who is Israel, or who the son, or who is the son of Yah. This is like my third, actually my fourth attempt. My camera keeps cutting off, so I'm using my laptop's camera. So hopefully this lesson gets completed here shortly. Anyhow, let's go ahead and validate and verify and use the precepts. That way you know exactly where Jacob's name was changed to Israel. All right, let's start off with Genesis. We're going to go to Genesis chapter 32 and verse 24. Okay, once again, Genesis chapter 32, verse 24. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. Verse 25. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint, as he wrestled with him. Okay, that is why when we eat clean meats, okay, we're not to eat the hollow of the thigh. Okay, that is to commemorate this incident right here. We're not to eat it. Okay, verse 26. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go except thou bless me. Verse 27. And he said unto him, what is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with Yah and with men, and has prevailed. Okay. So Jacob had wrestled with an angel, okay, and had prevailed. And thus he was called Israel. All right. Now, let's go down to another precept for that, for Jacob's name being changed to Israel, would be Genesis 35 verse 10. I'm going to speak a bit loud for the simple fact that I know that my PC, my laptop, has some issues picking up audio sometimes, so I'll be a bit louder. All right, let's go to once again Genesis 35 verse 10, and it reads, and Yah said unto him, thy name is Jacob, thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. Okay, so now you see clearly that Jacob, his name was changed to Israel once he had wrestled with an angel. So if you hear the house of Jacob, if you hear the house of Israel, if you hear the sons of Israel, if you hear Israelites, okay, if you hear sons of Jacob, it's all speaking of the lineage of this one man, Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. That's how you have Israelites, okay? Those are the sons of Jacob, or the sons of Israel. Same thing. All right. So now we had discussed how Reuben is the firstborn of those 12 boys. Okay. We've also discussed how Reuben had lost his birthright because he had defiled his father's bed by sleeping with his father's concubines. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to substantiate this, to verify it by going into the script. We're going to go into the text and get this information. Let's go to Genesis 35, verse 22. We're in the same chapter, okay? Or we're going to jump to verse 22. Once again, Genesis 35, verse 22, and it reads, and it came to pass, when Israel dwelt in the land, that Reuben went and laid with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. Okay, so one part of this verse is using his name Israel. The other part of the verse is using his name Jacob. It's the same person. Okay, so until you understand where this split took place or where the change took place, you would read Israel sons of Israel or sons of Jacob, and you would be misled into thinking, whoa, these are two separate people, but it's not. Okay? So that is exactly where, Reuben had messed up. He had defiled his father's bed, okay? And thus he lost his birthright. It was given to Joseph. And Joseph is represented by his two sons, Manasseh and as well as Ephraim and Manasseh. Okay? So that way you won't be confounded when you see the list and you don't see Joseph on there. He won't be. He's represented by his two sons because Joseph, now being the firstborn, he is given a double portion. Hence, he's represented by two of his sons. All right, let's go to First Chronicles. Go to First Chronicles chapter 5. First Chronicles chapter 5. We're going to go with verse 1. First Chronicles chapter 5, verse 1. Now the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel. Here we have in parentheses, it says, for he was the firstborn, but for as much as he defiled his father's bed, we just read that, his birthright was given unto the sons of Joseph, the sons of Joseph being Ephraim and Manasseh. And the genealogy is not to be reckoned after the birthright. So thus, the birthright was done away with, okay, and it was given directly to Joseph, okay. Now keep in mind, Israelites are a line of people, a bloodline of people. You cannot convert and be an Israelite, okay. Israelite is by seed, by bloodline, okay. All the other religions of the earth, from Christianity to Islam to Buddhism, Catholicism, and the rest of them, they're all idolatry. And if you study the script, you will know this. Excuse me. These are ways of men, ways created by men. Israel, the house of Israel, were given laws. We were not given religion. We were given laws. Keep that in mind. And we were the only one that were given these laws. We will cover that also. So now we've covered Reuben. We actually are very clear on exactly what he has done and why his birthright has been stripped. Okay, so we're clear on that. Now let's also cover Judah while we're doing this. Okay. We've covered Reuben. Let's go to Judah. Chronicles 5 and 2. But let's go down one verse and cover Judah. For Judah prevailed above his brethren, and of him came the chief ruler. But the birthright was Joseph's. So it reiterates once again that the birthright belonged to Joseph because of Reuben's error. Okay. But what we see here also is that Judah prevailed above his brethren. He was stronger than they were. Okay, so he was given rulership, okay, or the scepter, the same staff that the kings have or the rulers have. Okay, so the ruler and the lawgiver is actually from the tribe of Judah or the house of Judah. That is why David, Governor David, you commonly call King David, is of the house of Judah because that's where the rulership will be over the house of Israel and ultimately over the entire earth. Okay, so let's validate that Judah is indeed the lawgiver. He will hold the scepter. Okay, now let's go to Genesis 49, verse 10. All right, Genesis 49 and verse 10. And it reads, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. So, the gathering of the people being the house of Israel, all those other families, his brethren, his brothers, they shall gather unto Judah, for he's the strongest, and he is the lawgiver. Okay, so when Judah speaks, the rest of the house of Israel will listen. Okay, so he will be that important in the house of Israel and also in the gathering of the house of Israel because he is the lawgiver. Okay, he being the seed of Judah. All right, now let's go to Psalms 108. That's another precept we can use to validate, to confirm, to substantiate, and verify and give proof of this. Okay, let's go to Psalms 108. verse 8. All right. Psalms 108, verse 8 reads, Gilead is mine, Manasseh is mine. Ephraim also is the strength of mine head. Judah is my lawgiver. So it's being made clear here that Judah is indeed the lawgiver. We can see the same thing written in Psalm 60, verse 7. Okay, so flip to that. Psalm 60, verse 7, you will see the same thing here. Gilead is mine, Manasseh is mine. Ephraim also is the strength of mine head. Judah is my lawgiver. Okay, so that's, you saw three places where that has been substantiated. Okay, also the Most High made a covenant with David, and this covenant is forever as long as the nation of Israel exists and we are in the land. Currently, we're scattered. Once we are in the land and those 12 houses, the descendants of those 12 boys are brought together again, and the heathen is kicked out of that land that they're in right now, then the rulership will be given back to the house of David, okay? Because he holds the scepter, all right? So the house of Judah comes through the seed of David. His son will always be upon the throne. Okay, so a son of David will always be on the throne in the house of Israel. Okay, so that is covering, we just covered the importance of the house of Judah, the strength of Judah. Okay, so now what we're going to cover, let's go ahead and look at the next important family within the family or the house of Israel, and that will be the seed or the house of Levi. Okay, now the Levites are the priests of the house of Israel. Of the Levites, their task includes the tabernacle, the sacrifices, and they also minister to the people. The high priest, those of the seed of Zadok, will actually minister to the Most High Himself directly. Okay, understand that unless you are of of the tribe of Levi, you cannot go into the temple. You can't do any sacrifices or anything of the like. Those are specific tasks of the Levites. So not because you're Israel means you can just waltz in the temple. Okay, the temple, only certain people can go in there, and certain duties can be done and only can be done by Levites. So they are an entirely special group of people within the house of Israel. Okay, they were not giving any land. All the other families of Israel were given land. Okay, the house of Levi was not. Their inheritance is the Most High Himself. So they don't have any land. Okay, they are dispersed among the tribes themselves. Okay, because they are ministering unto the people and taking care of the tabernacle, etc. Okay, so you understand the importance of the priestly tribe. Now, keep in mind this. I'm going to touch on this really quickly. If you read this law and you understand this book, you know Catholicism is idolatry, and these other religions are idolatry also. Why? We know that you do not become a priest of the Most High because you went to a seminary school. It's not in the law, it's not in the book. Okay? In order to be a priest, you have to be of the bloodline of the house of Israel. That's number one. You have to be a Levite. That's number two. The priest, the high priest, and all the other priests of the house of Israel are bloodline priests. Levite to Levite to Levite. I'm a priest, my son's a priest, my son's a priest, etc., etc., etc. So we know Catholicism is garbage for the simple fact that these men do not marry. That's number one. Number two, they have proven to be sodomites. We've seen the cases over the years. Okay? And secondly, they go to a seminary school to learn about this idol that they serve. This idol that they serve, they kiss statues in Catholicism. They have a statue with the appearance of a man in Catholicism. They have crosses and all this other nonsense. You read Deuteronomy chapter 4, clearly it states that we saw no similitude of a man, and we should not make anything that looks like a man or anything of the sort. It is idolatry. So that's just a quick side note, okay? And that goes to the other religions too. You're all in idolatry. The Most High did not give his people religion. We were given laws. As a matter of fact, the house of Israel were the only people given those laws. And we will cover that here shortly. Anyway, we've discussed Levi, and to read about the house of Levi or the tribe of Levi, okay, you can read Numbers chapter 17, Numbers chapter 18, Numbers chapter 19, okay? Those cover things pertaining to Levi, so you understand how important that tribe is, okay? All tribes are important, but specifically Levi and the house of Judah, super important, okay? Now, let's deal with let's deal with exactly why and who Israel is. Okay, let's deal with who the Son of the Most High is. Now we have people telling you, hey, the Son of God is such and such, the Son of Yah is such and such. Let's hear what Yah has to say. Because at the end of the day, the Most High did say his counsel will stand. So if you're going to listen to anyone's counsel, you better listen to the counsel of the Most High. So let's deal with exactly what he has to say pertaining to who his son is. All right. Now, we're going to go to Exodus 4, verse 22. All right. Exodus 4, verse 22. And it reads, And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, Thus saith Yah, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. So the Most High is instructing Moses to tell Pharaoh that Israel, who is a nation of people, those 12 boys and their descendants, that's who his son is. Now we know with Malachi 3:6 that the Most High told Israel clearly he does not change. So when the Most High says Israel is his son doesn't become someone else at the end of some other book. If he says Israel is his son, that's exactly who his son is. That's his counsel. It shall stand. Keep that in mind. Okay. So now he's saying Israel is his firstborn. All right. Now let's go to verse 23. And I say unto thee, Let my son go that he may serve me. The house of Israel is to serve the Most High. We are his servants. We are his sons and his servants simultaneously. All right. That he may serve me. If thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn. So what the Most High is conveying through Moses to the Pharaoh, he's saying, look, Pharaoh, you've got my son. You've got my firstborn. If you do not let him go, I'm going to slay your firstborn. I'm going to kill your sons. Okay, so the Most High held true to his word, and he slayed the firstborn of everything in the land of Egypt. And this is one of the signs and wonders that we are to be teaching our children, that we are to go into the book of remembrance and remember. That's why we have Passover, not Easter, Passover, okay? Because we are the sons, the son of the Most High. And what he did on our behalf is part of the signs and wonders that he did before we left Egypt. And he did more of those signs and wonders in the wilderness. And that's where we get all these different testimonies from, because we bore witness to all of these things. Okay? So the Most High is telling you here clearly that Israel is his son and Israel is his firstborn. Now let's go where he says it again in Jeremiah 31:9. Let's go there. Now, one second. All right. Jeremiah 31 and verse 9. Jeremiah 31:9, and it reads, They shall come with weeping and with supplications. Will I lead them? I will cause them to walk by the rivers of waters in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn. So the Most High is saying clearly, at some point he's going to straighten us up. He's going to clean us up. Okay? Where we're going to be awakened to exactly who we are. And we're going to walk straight. All right? He's saying here clearly that Ephraim is his firstborn. Why is he saying this? If you do not understand clearly what took place in the beginning, in the front part of the book, you would read this and it would be Chinese to you. Okay? But we know from this, Ephraim is his firstborn. Well, I thought Israel was his firstborn. Well, you understand that Israel is the 12 boys. Ephraim is one of the 12 boys because Ephraim and Manasseh is represented by the house of Joseph. So if you weren't aware of the fact that Reuben, who was the true firstborn, had lost his birthright because he defiled his father's bed, you would read this and be totally confounded. You would be confused because you would have no idea what this is speaking of. Okay? But now that you do, this makes sense. You understand? Okay, well, Ephraim is now his firstborn because now Ephraim holds the firstborn position because Reuben lost it and it was given to Ephraim's father, who is Joseph. Okay? Ephraim is also referred to as the northern kingdom. Side note. All right? So we clearly understand why he's saying this. All right? So now we're in Egypt. All right? The Most High said, we are his sons. The house of Israel is his son. And that's why it is Passover, because the Most High passed over Israel and slayed the firstborn man and beast of all the Egyptians, just so they will know who his son is. Notice his name is Israel. Now, let's go to Hosea 11 and 1. Okay? So we can understand a few things. My book is in pieces because it's falling apart from handling. So hang tight. All right, let's go to Hosea 11, verse 1, so we can make a few things clear. All right. Hosea 11, verse 1 reads, when Israel was a child, then I loved him. Remember, Israel being a child is a young nation. Okay? I'll read again. We're at Hosea 11, chapter 11, verse 1. When Israel was a child, then I loved him and called my son out of Egypt. We were called out of Egypt. We were brought out of Egypt. So this son he's speaking of is Israel, no one else. Okay? So the Most High said his son is Israel. He's going to show you on throughout this book that his son is Israel and no one else but Israel. Anything else, that idol that you so love, okay, that's not the son of the Most High. The Most High didn't say that. He said his son was Israel. Okay, and his counsel shall stand. Now, on a side note, let's go to Hosea 6. Just back up a couple of pages. We're going to go to Hosea 6, verse 1, and I'll read the first two verses for you, just for effect. Okay? Come and let us return unto Yah. How do we return unto him? This is Israelites speaking. Okay, we return unto him by obeying his laws. Okay? Come, let us return unto Yah. For he hath torn, and he will heal us. He has smitten, and he will bind us up. Verse 2. Once again, we're in Hosea chapter 6. Now we're at verse 2. After 2 days, which is the equivalent of 2,000 years, will he revive us. Notice, after 2 days, he is going to revive us, the house of Israel. Okay, in the third day, he will raise us up. We're in a state of we don't know who we are. And now we're beginning to wake up. Ezekiel said 37th chapter, Valley of Dry Bones. Israel being awakened to who they are. Okay, in the third day, he will raise us up and we shall live in his sight. When he raises up, he's going to return us back to where we came from, the land that was promised to our forefathers. Okay, so this is where this resurrection thing is taken from. All right, this doesn't speak to AJC. This speaks to the house of Israel, a nation of people, a bloodline of people. Okay, so we've got that covered. Now, keep in mind that the Most High has covenants. He has a covenant with the house of Levi. He has a covenant with the house of David. Okay, that's why I covered Judah and I covered Levi as two important families of those 12 tribes. All right, because the Most High have a covenant with David, where David would always have a man upon the throne. Always. One of David's sons is always going to be on that throne because Judah holds the scepter. Okay, he holds the staff of the king or the staff of the governors, the rulership. We've read that previously. And as you know, the Levites are the ones that minister to the Most High, takes care of all the duties pertaining to the temple, and also ministers to the people, the house of Israel. So we're clear on that. All right. To kind of, I don't want to just tell you things just to be talking. It has to be substantiated in the book. We have to be able to go into this law and find this information. Go into the book of remembrance and find. Let's go to Jeremiah. And Jeremiah 33. That way this stuff can be substantiated. And it's not a bunch of I heard and I believe. Let's go with I know. Because you've read it, seen it with your own eyes, and you know, not you believe. An idiot can believe whatever he or she wants. Doesn't make it true. Okay? So let's always substantiate and confirm everything by reading, studying, and cross-referencing for ourselves. Okay? All right, let's go to Jeremiah 33. Again, Jeremiah 33, we're going to start off at verse 17. All right, verse 17. And it reads, For thus saith Yah, David shall never want a man to sit upon the throne of the house of Israel. Neither shall the priests, the Levites, want a man before me to offer burnt offerings and to kindle meat offerings and to do sacrifices continually. This is being said because the Most High made a covenant with David, to where his sons will always be on the throne of the house of Israel, always. And he made a covenant with the Levites, that they will always be the ones to minister unto him and take care of his temple. So that's why he's saying all of this. Anyhow, let's continue. Verse 19. And the word of Yah came unto Jeremiah, saying, Thus saith Yah, if ye can break my covenant of the day and my covenant of the night, and that there should not be day and night in their season, then may also my covenant be broken with David my servant, and he should not have a son to reign upon his throne, and with the Levites, the priests, my ministers. So what the Most High is saying, look, if day and night stop happening, it will take that to happen for me to break the covenant that I have made with David and the covenant I've made with the house of Levi. Okay? So in other words, this is not going to happen. The house of David and the house of Levi, their covenant is secured forever. All right? Now the Most High continues with this. As the host of heaven cannot be numbered, neither the sands of the sea measured, so will I multiply the seed of David my servant, and the Levites that minister unto me. Moreover, the word of Yah came to Jeremiah, saying, Considerest thou not what this people have spoken, saying, The two families which Yah hath chosen, he hath even cast them off. Thus they have despised my people, that they should be no more a nation before them. In other words, what the Most High is saying here, look, all these other nations are saying that he has cast off his people. He has cast off these two nations, the two nations being the house of Israel. Northern kingdom, southern kingdom. Look at those videos. They're up. Okay? So that's what the two kingdoms they're speaking of. After they were split, Israel was split into two kingdoms or two nations after the reign of Rehoboam, Solomon's son. Okay? So he's saying all these other nations are saying that he's cast them off. He's Most High saying, nope, he has not cast off his people. He's making this clear right here. So if anyone tells you that the Most High cast off his people and gave it to some other people for them to teach his word, this is a lie. It's not so. Anyway, let's get back to this. Okay? We're at now let's go ahead and reread verse 24. Consider thou not what this people have spoken, saying, The two families which Yah hath chosen, he hath even cast them off. Thus they have despised my people, that they should be no more a nation before them. Israel was split up, sent to all these different lands, and they are hated, despised by all the nations. 26. Then will I cast away the seed of Jacob and David my servant, so that I will not take any of his seed to be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for I will cause their captivity to return and have mercy upon them. So the Most High is saying that there's no way, no how, that he's going to cast away or put away or do away with his covenant with Levi. He's not going to do away with his covenant with David, and he has not cast off the house of Israel, who was split into two separate nations. So anyone tells you that is in contradiction of what's being said here by the Most High himself. Keep that in mind. So we've got that clear. Okay, now let's go. You can read this for effect yourself. Read Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 67. These are all the curses that were placed upon the house of Israel. These curses were placed for a sign and a wonder. A sign points to something. It identifies something. A sign gives direction, lets you know where to go or who's who or what's what. Okay? A wonder, well, when you read these curses and you look around, the first thing you're trying to do is, okay, how can I identify the house of Israel? Because they're still going to have these curses on them. So you read Deuteronomy 28, look at those curses, and the first thing you must ask yourself, well, what people on the face of the earth fits these curses? Am I one of those people? Can I look and see my people under these curses? Am I under these curses? Were my grandparents under these curses? And thus, by bearing witness, you will be able to identify if you are of the house of Israel or not. It's that simple. Okay? So once you realize, okay, I am of the house of Israel, next thing you have to realize or be curious about is, how do we remove ourselves from these curses? What must we do in order to get some relief, in order to return to our rightful place, i.e., the land that was given to us, and to return back to being the head of all the nations? Because the house of Israel is unlike any family on the face of the earth. It is more special and it's above every nation. So there's no such thing as equality. You've been lied to on that too. All men created equal. That's a no-no. Israel is above all nations on the face of the earth. And the Most High doesn't know any other nation except the house of Israel. So the guy from the 700 Club, Joel Osteen, and all these other cats, yeah, I'm going to call them that, bunch of cats, robbers, lies, and thieves, they're not of the house of Israel, but they're not under those curses. Okay? So therefore, if they're saying they know the Most High, well, I'm going to read to you where the Most High don't know them. Okay? So we're gonna go with the counsel of the Most High because that's what's going to stand. So now, read Deuteronomy 28, look at those curses, see if you can identify with those curses. If they fall upon you, you will know you're the house of Israel. Not only will it be upon you, it'll be upon your kids, it'll be upon your parents, your grandparents. It is perpetual, generation after generation, until we return to this law. Okay? So now, the solution to this is Deuteronomy 30. Now, when you read Deuteronomy 30 carefully, he doesn't say anything about sending anyone to get the house of Israel. He says he's coming to get them personally. Said nothing about sending anybody to get you. All the nations that we've been scattered in, he will come and gather us himself personally. But there's a stipulation to that. There's a guideline of that. We first have to return to these laws. And until we do that, it's not going to happen. Okay? And those that do not, Israel or non-Israel, he's going to kill you. Bottom line. Now, let's go and identify Israel so we know exactly how special these people are and why we're under these curses. Let's go to Amos. Let's go to Amos 3, verse 2. All right? And matter of fact, let's start off with verse 1. Amos chapter 3. I'm going to read verse 1 first. Hear this, that Yah has spoken against you, O children of Israel. Not everybody, not the children of the whole world. O children of Israel. Against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for your iniquities. So the Most High is saying here clearly, look, Israel, family of people, whole nation that I delivered out of Egypt, of all the families on the face of this earth, only you, Israel, have I known. Therefore, I will punish you for your iniquities. In other words, of all these nations, I don't know the rest of them. I only know you. My laws were given to you. All the wonders that I have done I did it for you. And so therefore, I'm going to give you my laws, and I'm going to protect you and take care of you and do all of these things. When you go against my law, I'm going to punish you. Because after all, I don't know the rest of these nations. Okay? So anyone saying they know the Most High is not of the house of Israel, not so. We just read that right here. Okay? So that is why the house of Israel, that's why we take this beating in all the parts of the earth, throughout the earth, because we're the ones that were given this law. No one else. All right? He doesn't know these other nations. That's why they can do all manner of foul things and they still live pretty good. They don't see any judgment, but their judgment is coming. I mean, coming. All right? Now, let's go to Deuteronomy 14, verse 2. Deuteronomy 14, and we're going to deal with verse 2. All right. Deuteronomy 14, verse 2 reads, For thou art an holy people unto Yah thy strong one, and Yah hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, above all nations that are upon the earth. It doesn't get any plainer than that. Israel is above all nations. Cut and dry, plain and simple. Okay? So there is no such thing as we're the same or we're equal. You should know that because your sons are the ones getting shot in the street. Your sons are strung out on drugs. Our daughters are having the babies at 15 years old. Okay? We're the ones dying at a young age. We're the ones in extreme poverty. We're the ones that cannot find a fair shake. Okay? These are all part of the curses that have been put upon the house of Israel. Okay? And we are to wake up to this fact. But you are to also understand that you are special above all the peoples of the earth. And once you understand that and return to these laws, things will change for us. This is spoken of in this book. All right, now, let me see where else we'd like to go. We're a special chosen people. We've got that to where we're above all the people on the face of the earth. So we know clearly that Israel is unlike any other. Now let's back up and go to Deuteronomy chapter 7. Deuteronomy chapter 7, and we're going to go to verse 6. This is going to reiterate the previous point. For thou art an holy people unto Yah thy strong one. Okay? Yah hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. Okay? Above all that are upon the face of the earth. So, the house of Israel, you are a special people unlike any other people. You are chosen to be special above everyone on the face of the earth. How special is that? Okay, very special. But this is not what you're told. You're told not to come in this Old Testament. There's no such thing as an Old Testament. It's the book of remembrance. And there's no such thing as a New Testament. No. Look at New, look at Testament. There could be no such thing. Okay? So this is so you understand clearly that if you go into the law and you read it carefully, you will understand that no man can die for your sin. Period. It is contrary to the laws of the Most High. We were told strictly, the house of Israel, we knew from the jump that every man dies for his own sins. Any man tells you anything contrary to that is not speaking according to this book. So you keep that in mind. Most High himself said his son is Israel. And he has said that many times. Okay? And we can substantiate this thing. Okay? So once Israel returns to the land, okay, the saints of the Most High is going to take the kingdom. The kingdom is going to be in Jerusalem, on the earth. Okay? So if you're waiting for some idol to come back and get you and take you up in the sky someplace, you clearly have not read this law. You have not read the book of the prophets. And you clearly don't understand this, and you're wrapped around tight in idolatry. Okay? Secondly, for those of you who think when you go to church, this is the house of God. I'm in the house of God. Let me tell you something. The Most High had two temples built. One by Solomon, one by Zerubbabel. Those are his houses. And they were built in the same spot. Same spot. Two houses. And he will have the third one built, and it will be glorious than the first two. So, if the Most High's house was built at Mount Moriah, one spot, both temples. What do you think the place that you go to, what do you think that is? That's a good question for you. So I'm going to tell you what it is. It's a house of idol worship. That's what it is. And you need to study and get out. All right. So I'm going to leave. I'm going to wrap this lesson up coming out of Psalms. Let me flip there. Let's go to Psalms 119. We're going to go to Psalms 119, 142. This is where we're going to wrap this up. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness. Righteousness lasts forever. And thy law is the truth. I'm going to read it again. We're in Psalms 119, 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. In other words, truth lasts forever. Righteousness is going to last forever. The truth is the law. The law is the truth. The law is righteousness. So now, I will say again, there is no such thing as a lawless creator. He has laws. Laws were given to Israel. Israel did not obey those laws, and so Israel was scattered throughout all the nations for their lack of obedience. Okay, so you can't come as you are, come as you want, wear what you want, marry who you want, say what you want, do what you want on any given day. Okay, so we have to adhere to law. If you want to know what the truth is, I just read it. The truth is the law. So therefore, when you hear another man died for your sins, the first thing you need to do is, you know what? Let me go into the standard. Let me go read the law and see what the law says about that. The law makes clear another man can't die for your sins. Period. Shuts that down, and that doesn't change. Most High doesn't change. Malachi 3:6. Keep that in mind. Okay? So always reference the law if you want to find out if something is true or not. And that's how you know where the lies are. All right? You reference that law. And that law will make things clear, and it'll take that New Testament and chop it up in pieces. Okay? Because it's nonsense. Once you put it up against that standard, the law. That's why we as the house of Israel must return to the Most High's laws. It's not easy, and some of you just don't have the discipline to do it. Okay? Now, on a side note, they're Israelites, males. I make these videos specifically for my buddies. Other people may look at them, they may gain information from it as well. Some of my buddies, they're actually reading, they're studying this thing. They're trying to pick it apart because a lot of what's being said here, they have not heard. They certainly have not read it because they don't read. You're dealing with a bunch of gentlemen who can tell me more about, a fantasy football game, a real football game, or some silly TV show. Meanwhile, our sons and daughters are being killed in the street every day. Okay? Things are beginning to be harder for us worldwide. The whole earth is in chaos. They can't see it. And the ones that can see it have no idea why, because they have no idea who they are. So you're to take all of these things into consideration, because some of these same gentlemen want to stand up and try to defend Christianity because they sit in the church every day or 3 times a week. But these same individuals, if you tell them, hey, name 3 of the tribes of Israel, they don't know. Ask them who the priestly tribe is, they don't know. Ask them what the new covenant is, they don't know. As a matter of fact, ask them anything, they don't know, because they've never read the book. They just go there, sit down, listen to what someone else says. They do not have the knowledge to contend with what's being said. Most importantly, many of them do not care. Okay? However, as Israel begins to wake up, we will teach this knowledge. And we do not have to go to a seminary school for this. The Most High will put His Spirit upon the Israel. We will pop up like willows by the water courses. So Israelites are going to be everywhere teaching this. So you're going to hear it. That way, you will not have the excuse of saying, if I didn't know, or I didn't know, and if I did know, I would have done it. You would have heard it, and you would be given a chance to make a turnaround. That's why you're hearing this. Okay? So put down the football games, pick up the book of remembrance, and read. Okay? Because in the book of remembrance, Genesis through Malachi, real prophets, it's about you. It's your story. It's your history. It's where you can make a difference by returning to these laws. Because it's about you. They may have told you it's not, but when you carefully review those records, it's all about you and your people. And you will be able to bear witness to it once you read those records. You will know clearly it's you. And so, to the men of Israel and to the women of Israel, the power is within your hands because you will have to save your own soul. You will save yourself. No one is coming to save. You're going to save yourself first by returning to these laws, by keeping them and doing the things that are right, by changing your dietary habits, returning to these laws, the dietary law. We cannot eat what we want. We can't marry who we want. We can't wear what we want. Okay, we're not to marry any one of the other nations. I didn't know that till I started studying because I've transgressed in that area in my early years, not marrying someone of another nation, but I was involved with someone of other nations. So there's so much to learn once we return to this law. Anyway, that's your commentary and my commentary on this piece. And keep in mind, the more you learn, the more you realize how much those around you really don't know anything. But yet, keep in mind that at some point or at one point, you too didn't know. But the goal is to share the information, and there are those of us who are of the house of Israel who will return to this law. And for the ones that don't, you're as good as dead. Anyway, you've been slapped with the truth, okay? Make sure you research, read, substantiate this, and return to this law. Peace, Israel.